Hello, welcome to Becoming Catholic. My name is Nate, an ex-Protestant youth pastor who has recently been convinced of the Catholic Church's claims. Today, we're going to talk about my new home altar, or, well, I don't have it anymore, but we'll get to that. Let's jump in. If you remember, a while ago, I created a video about my home altar, and you hated it. You didn't hate it. You actually were just, a lot of you were less than charitable in your approach, but you were concerned with the things that I put on the altar. And to your credit, you were probably right. I put quite a few things on that altar that weren't really appropriate to put on a home altar. So uh, I forgive you, but I did heed your advice and I did make a new altar. What's really cool about this is this altar came after our house fire. If you are unfamiliar with the story of my house fire, you can uh, watch this video. Um, that video will kind of give you the update on my life. I just finished recording it, so super fresh in my mind. But we had a house fire. We were displaced. We had to move into a rental unit for a little over a year. And my wife had brought up that she wanted to have a home altar. She wanted an altar in the living room. She had listened to a podcast, and in this podcast, there was a Catholic woman who said the reason she likes Catholicism and the reason she likes home altars and Catholic imagery is that it puts something in the house that the child or children of the family can look at and point to and ask questions about and learn about Jesus through it. And she really loved that idea. And we had a little magnet of an Eastern icon of Jesus that was on our fridge. Um, and I had taught my daughter pretty early on that that was Jesus. Every time my daughter sees just an empty cross, she points at it and says Jesus. So that really captured my wife's heart, and she liked the idea of kind of having this thing in our home that this is where Jesus is in our house. So, actually, by my wife's desire, we put an altar in the home. So we went to a Catholic goods store named WB O'Connor's in Latham, New York, and that was just the nearest Catholic goods store. There's not really a lot of Catholic bookstores in the area. So we went there and we bought a few things. We went to Target, bought a few shelves. Um, we went to a thrift store in the area called Captain's Treasures, and we found some like wooden sconce candlestick holders. Um, we bought those. We went to another consignment store and got a little table to put under the shelves we were hanging on the wall. But so really cool. My wife was inspired to have a home altar, so we did it. So this is that video, and she kind of leaned on me as to figure out what to put on a home altar, and I leaned on your comments on my last video to figure out what to put on a home altar. So first things first, I hung up the shelves. Shelves look great. They were gold and glass, so they were really cool looking, and they kind of fit our personal style, but they also fit kind of the goal that we had, which was to make this thing look like a reverent space. Um, I've looked at a lot of people's home altars online, and not to be critical, but they're kind of ugly. And if there's one thing I really care about, and one thing I find attractive about the Catholic faith, it is the beauty of the Catholic faith and of all of the material things in the Catholic faith are so beautiful. It's so reflective of the beauty of God that I wanted to have an altar that was beautiful. So it wasn't perfect, but we did our best, and I think it came out pretty good. First things first, we had the shelves up, then the table. We put the table underneath it, and then the things we put on it were a crucifix that I had. That crucifix was on my last altar, an Arma Christi crucifix. So it was a brass crucifix had a stand on it, and it basically had all these little images that will remind you of moments in the Passion story. So things like the robe that or the garment that Christ wore with some dice above it to kind of remind you of the Roman soldiers who casted lots to see who got Jesus's garment. There's a hyssop branch. There's a ladder, which was probably climbed to take Jesus off of the cross. Um, just lots of a rooster to remind you of when Peter denied Jesus. Lots of really cool like little images that if you were to like really analyze it, you could actually get the entire passion story from this one crucifix. I love it. It's a beautiful piece. And so we put that right in the center on the top shelf. And at the Captain's Treasures at the consignment store, my wife found a cool statue of Mary. It's a little brown statue of Mary holding the baby Jesus, and it was really. It's just like a cool. It has like it almost looks like wood, but it's not. It's porcelain, but it just has this like cool rustic kind of vibe. There was a wooden statue of Saint Joseph that a priest that I know had given me. Um, and then something else that I really liked, my wife picked when we were at WB O'Connor's, the Catholic goods store. She had picked a little plaque or placard or a little wooden picture of the Blessed Virgin Mary, and it was specifically an image. I wouldn't say it was an icon because it wasn't iconography, but it had a lot of gold on it. It was really pretty, and it was specifically for Our Lady of the Miraculous Medal, and there was a long Miraculous Medal prayer on the back. And as you may know, I am devoted to the Miraculous Medal and Our Lady of the Miraculous Medal. This is like one of my favorite things, my favorite devotion. And so she picked this out on her own. It caught her eye, it caught her heart. She liked it, so we put it on our altar, which was really heartwarming to me. And then finally she had picked. I don't think I picked that many because I'm not really into these things, but she had picked a lot of prayer cards and prayer pamphlets of different saints. So she just like went around because they're only like $1. So she went around and picked all the saints that she found even remotely interesting. And some of the saints that stand out are Saint Martha, Sister of Mary, Saint Rose of Lima, or Lima. I don't know how you say it. Saint Catherine of Siena was another one that stuck out to her. Saint Kateri of Tekakwitha, if that's how you say that. That is a saint. I would say Saint Martha and Tekakwitha excuse me, Saint Martha and Kateri are probably two of the saints that my wife likes the most, as far as I can tell. Sweetheart, if you're watching, correct me if I'm wrong. But so we put all these prayer cards on the shelf. I have a really cool confraternity Bible. It's really pretty. I put that on the shelf. I also have um, a book of the Gospels, like a harmony of the Gospels with the Ronald Knox translation of Scripture. So it's the four Gospels kind of lined up, so you can read them. It's basically one gospel story instead of four gospel stories, and it reads chronologically. So that's pretty cool. For a while, we were using that for our family devotional time. Um, yeah, so this is just us build. This is me putting it together, putting all the pieces together. The candles we put on were just random cheap candlesticks that we got at Target. We did not have anything blessed. So I know some of you are going to come for me. You should have got it blessed. You should have used beeswax candles, whatever other weird stuff you're going to say to me. And you're probably right, like you were right in the last altar video. But this is what we did with the knowledge we had at the time. And these are the items we bought. And you're just going to have to deal with it because it's well in the past. We've since taken down the altar and moved out of that place. We've only been where we are for 4 days. I don't even know where half of that stuff is right now. Our lives are kind of a mess. So we don't have an altar, but that is what we had. But I will say, and this is the thing that I loved about the altar, was for a while, and I'm not a really consistent person. I've confessed to this in the past. Um, and so I'm not really good at being consistent with my wife and daughter in our family devotions. We haven't done them in a very long time. But for a while, what we would do is read one reading from that Harmony of the Gospels by Ronald Knox. And then we would each say 10 Jesus prayers after the reading. And while we did our devotional time, we would have the two candles on either side of our altar lit. And this is this wasn't terribly long after the fire, several months maybe. And something my wife said to me, which I was really touching. Because she had, since the house fire, been, rightly so, terrified of fire, and she would look at the candles on the altar and say, uh, "This makes fire feel redeeming. This is the first time that I've been able to look at fire and not be afraid of it." And that kind of became the theme for the year. Every Christmas, I get her an ornament for our Christmas tree that is some kind of cute reflection of what I how I could summarize the year. And that year was summarized by having lost our house to um, a fire which robbed us of our home church and our job and memories that of our daughter learning how to talk and walk in our own home. Like, we were robbed of so much. And she was able to look at the altar and look at the candle flickering on the altar and say, "This makes fire feel good." And so I got her a little candle ornament. Um, and so, yeah, that's it. That the altar helped us redefine the year. And that was really rewarding spiritually and really healing to our hearts. Um, so yeah, this is our altar. Uh, if you have any comments about how crappy of a job I did, you can comment them, I guess. I'm just kidding. I would like to hear what you think. I realize I should have blessed candles or beeswax candles, whatever. I should have a proper incense burner. I do want to do those things. It's just going to take some time because it'll be a while before I get to put up an altar. Um, but thank you for watching this video. Thank you for your comments and your prayers. Uh, I very much appreciate all of you and your support. Um, I just It's really hard for me to end these videos because I can never stop talking about how grateful I am for all of you who watch these videos and pray for my family. So I'm just going to stop talking. Thank you so much for your prayers and your support. Love you guys. God bless. Peace.